There's someone I've hurt, and I see the pain I've caused them every day. We're not friends, nor have we ever been. Yet I still see the consequences of my actions. The words slip past my tongue as if they have a will of their own. My foot inches out as they walk by like its only goal in life is to make contact. My stomach twists at the sight of them. It's all like bile I can't keep down. Just being in this person's presence makes me ball my fists. So it's equal, right? Equal hate. They hate me, and I hate them. I tell myself we are equals. The battlefield is open, so who cares if I strike first? They make me hurt, and I fight back. I fight back with all my will. And the pain burning in their eyes, the hatred burning when they see me, it feels good. I can control the way they act, the way they think, who their friends are. Things I could never control for myself. Their perfection bothered me so. Seeing them so perfect! How come they could choose who they could be and I could not? But one day, one word, and it all fell apart, which the scars will never heal. Wounding another won't make you look, be, feel any better. It's all like a poison, and even the distributor gets hurt. One day, one word, too many regrets and unspoken apologies. Stop! And so I did.
Today we will explore both the worlds of the bully and the bullied. But before we begin, there is one very important fact that we'd like for you to keep front and center. Research consistently shows that 75 to 90% of kids don't bully at all, or with any regularity. That leaves room for one very important word. Hope. Hope that if you come to our play, you might go home, look in the mirror, and consider making a change. Hope that if you see someone who's hurt or in trouble, you won't just stand by. Hope that you will not remain silent.
So what exactly is a bully? There's the traditional bully, the thug in training, who steals your lunch money, throws you into a locker, stuffs you into a locker. Can I fly? Where's my lunch money, McFly?
I forgot.
Oh, here it is. Don't forget, okay? We all laugh at Hollywood's bit, and even cheer when the Karate Kid finally stands up to his bully on a public stage and defeats him. But what Hollywood doesn't show us is that this type of bully consistently has poor grades, bad feelings toward their friends, their family, and their own lives, and tend to be suicidal and have a drinking or drug problem.
The second type is the clueless thug. This person tries to act like a thug, not out of malice, but because they're clueless. They just don't get it. Their jabs and jokes are met with blank stares.
You ready?
Hey Gracie, what are you doing? My homework. Why? Homework's for losers. Okay. Oh, Gracie, you totally farted. Or was it your book? No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Don't deny it.
Okay, guys.
Then there is the bully victim. They experience the worst of both worlds. Their friends take turns rejecting them and then just pushing them into making more trouble. They're way more likely to have deeper psychological issues and consider suicide. They're more likely to be boys and harass girls, and they're more likely to perform academically and see themselves and others negatively and feel isolated and rejected.
Hey, Jewel!
What?
Dude, take your book and hit her with it.
Why?
If you don't, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Okay.
Oh, that
the popular bully. This person is the opposite of a misfit. They tend to have high social cognition and are good at seeing people around them and manipulating their feelings. But just because they're popular does not mean they are well liked. They are sophisticated enough to be subtle. Their methods of choice are whispered gossip, freezing out a target, or getting a minion to do their dirty work.
Hey Haley, I'm having a party this weekend. You should totally come.
Oh, that sounds really exciting. Is Larry gonna be there?
Ooh, yeah, why? Do you like Larry?
Maybe. We'll see how it goes.
I can talk to him if you want.
That'd be great.
Okay, see you on Saturday.
All right.
Hey Larry, wanna hang out?
Finally, we have a new breed of bully, the Facebook bug. They take on meaner, brasher personas than they'd ever displayed in person. They're often shy and quiet in person, but can be an unabashed trash talker online. It's hard to tell they're the same person.
Hey, so how'd your date go?
It was wonderful.
Yeah, what'd you do?
We went to my house and watched a movie.
Yeah, just like that. Was it just the two of you?
Of course.
So your parents weren't there or anything?
No.
So what did you do?
We just hung out.
Oh, okay. She totally slept with him.
Slut.
Tweet. Most of us have had an indelible experience of bullying, of being a predator or prey,
Of taking or failing.
To take a side.
Or being made fun of.
Or ostrich size.
And worse, these memories make us sad. They help make us who we are.
and the visceral memories and feelings.
Stay with us.
Giving us a window.
We can actually see through.
One that takes us
Right back to our childhood selves.
There's funny. Brad and Adam were friends in elementary school. Tuesday Council was really funny.
No, it doesn't.
As they grew older, Adam became the punching bag for Brad and his friends. They would tease him and lure him into traps.
A group of boys would gather at a neighborhood girl's door. They'd ring the doorbell. Ding dong! And when she answered, they'd all run away. But he had Adam take the blame. He always came back.
As they moved on to high school, the divide between them grew wider. Adam was on the verge of coming out, and Brad turned to drugs.
They got into a fight one day.
Yes, aced it.
Oh, God, I failed again.
Well, you want to fail if you hadn't started doing drugs.
Excuse me?
Well, all I was just saying.
Shut up, freak!
What?
I don't want to hear it.
I was just gonna.
Are you going to accuse
I
me?
was gonna try to help you.
You're going to try to help. Really?
Don't
What
try
do
to turn
you
this
do
around
now?
on me.
I will. You started. Oh,
I hate you.
Die.
Brad decided to use his friends to publicly humiliate Adam. It all happened one day during gym.
Yeah.
Okay, it's half done.
You sure?
I guess. Whatever. You okay?
Adam said later,
I was heaving, trying to catch my breath and trying not to cry. I couldn't believe how public it was and how far they'd gone. I was just completely overwhelmed.
most of us can access.
Adam came out of middle school. Today he works as a middle school counselor in Long Island, not far from where he grew up. Not long ago, we found Brad on Facebook and asked him what he remembered about their history. Brad now works as an anthropologist in Alaska and wrote back.
Even now, years later, I can't understand what's going through our minds. Or why we even felt the need to do this. I know it was wrong, but that didn't seem to matter at the time. I remember going up to you and apologizing, in part because I knew I was going to get suspended, but because I was also really affected by the way everyone was reacting. I positioned myself as some sort of a ringleader and given up a substantial part of me in the process. I began to realize later in high school how horrible and wrong I was. And I still think about it to this day.
Most of us can access
Very clearly, a memory of childhood bullying.
It was as if we were able to reach inside, and almost with a sense of wonder,
Conjure our hurt.
Or confused, or shocked,
or resentful selves.
This is true for former bullies,
and bystanders.
as well as for
victims. These expectations of cruelty are transformative.
no matter which role we played in our memory wheel.
Hey, look.
What?
I just came from science class. Want to hear a few jokes?
Okay.
Oh man. Okay. So a neutron atom walks into a bar and asks how much the drinks are, right? And the bartender tells him, "For you, no charge." Dude. all right. Gold walks into a bar and the bartender says, "Hey you, we don't serve your kind here. Hey you. Hey you, gold."
The true comical genius you are.
Check it out, it's tiny.
His name's Luke, not Tiny. Aren't you tired of that nickname?
You know, it'd be nice if people stopped calling me that.
You can't help what you are, Tiny. Come on, the cafeteria is tabletops.
See you later.
Bye. Mom,
Hey, Tiny, how was school?
Mom, can you stop calling me that?
What's wrong with Tiny? We've been calling you that since you were little.
Oh, yeah, now bullies at school call me that, and it seems to take on a whole new meaning, and I sure don't need this at home.
Whoa, that was rude. Tiny, go to your room.
Hey, Tiny, what up, my little man? Give me some skin. Was it something I said?
He said something about being called Tiny, but he's never had a problem with it before.
Right, that is no excuse to be rude.
I don't know. When you were in high school, you didn't really like your nickname either, Danny boy.
Whoa. We said we were never gonna mention that again.
Dad's real name is Danny.
Yes, go to your room.
Okay, Danny boy.
Mary, do you really think he's having fun with that nickname?
I don't know if I'm the one you should be asking.
Whoa. You're probably right. We definitely hurt his feelings. Feeling a little down, Bridget?
Why won't people stop calling me that name? It's not my fault, I'm sure, than the average person. Well, I mean, can't they just see that I hate that nickname?
You cannot change what you do not confront. Hey, that's pretty good advice if you ask me, kiddo.
That's it. I can't make them change, but I should just change how I respond. I will think of myself as a victim, and, well, that stops now. Will you excuse me, Dad? I have some ideas I need to write down.
Sure thing, pal. Just don't be late for dinner.
I love you too, Dad.
Oh, and by the way, next time I accidentally call you Tiny, you have permission to call me Danny Boy.
Really? Danny boy?
Yeah, but don't admit it. Hey, Tiny, how's the weather down there?
Not too bad due to the low pressure zone we've been having. Good day, sir.
Hey, shortstop. I'm gonna tell you one last night's baseball game.
I think it was the Panthers with a 12-point lead.
Hey, people don't like a smartass.
You're right. Maybe you should think twice next time you open your mouth.
Come on, guys, let's get out of here. This guy is boring.
Hey, Luke, what's up with those guys? They picking on you again?
Nope, not a bit.
You really? You know, you've been really different lately. You've been trying out for teams and joining clubs. Someone told me you were thinking about running for student council. Come on, everyone's noticed. I even think I saw Andy giving you the old eye the other day. Thinks she likes you. You know what else?
What?
I'm pretty sure you're getting taller.
So, Victor, buddy, heard any good jokes?
For centuries, if not forever, children have bullied each other.
And for almost this long, adults have mostly ignored them.
The concept that children deserve special protection
As opposed to serving as a source of cheap labor.
didn't even exist until the 19th century.
At that point, child-rearing manuals began urging parents to teach their children.
Christian kindness.
Even then, bullying wasn't worth comment by adults.
Only in the fiction of the era were real-life examples that read like them. Real-life stories we tell today.
Jane Eyre's vicious older cousin.
He bullied and punished me not 2 or 3 times in the week, not once or twice in the day, but continually. Every nerve I had failed him, and every morsel of flesh on my bones shrank and became bare.
Looking back on her American frontier childhood in her Little House books,
Laura Ingalls Wilder anticipated the modern-day mean girl in her character.
Nellie Olson, who wrinkled up her nose at Laura's and Mary's homemade dresses. Country girls. Don't you wish you had a fur cape, Laura? But your pa couldn't buy you one. Your pa's not a storekeeper.
These fictional kids
Stand in for the real-life children left out of history books.
Suffered their cuts, burns, and hurt feelings while the adults stood by.
Fiction reflected a cold underlying fact of life.
Bullying was a matter of course.
a battery of sayings would arise to dismiss its significance. Boys will be boys.
Just walk away.
Ignore it.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. This basic stance remained largely unchanged in America for the next 100 years.
Bullying was an inexorable part of life.
A force of nature. And the best thing to do was to
Shrug it off! It's easy to make yourself feel better. Seeing other people hurting more than you made the pain lessen. Seeing people feel glum makes you realize that your life could be as bad as theirs. And it's not. So, what do you do when no one is feeling as bad as you?
You make them feel bad. You make them feel worse. You're not happy, so why should they be happy? It's not until you really see how much you're hurting them that it actually affects you anyway.
But now you're putting them in the exact same position that you were once in. And you've become what you said you'd never become. What you vowed you'd never become. You've become the bully. And there's no way to take back those hurtful words and poisonous blows.
But the blows made you feel powerful, made you feel as if you were in control. There's nothing worse than feeling like you're out of control, like you're helpless, and you yearn for that power, that rush of adrenaline that says that you're the one in charge of you.
But at some point you have taken too much poison, and your life now hangs in the balance of fear and hatred. The scars are too deep, too many bridges have been burned, and too many lives have been broken because of you.
Right on.
You need to find a way to put the good back in the world. It's an equal exchange that's impossible to achieve. And you ask yourself, how can I take back these terrible words? But you can't. And if life had a backspace bar, the number of times you would press it would be infinite.
Or would it? Do you regret drinking poison?
Of course you do.
But you did it. Some part of you wanted it, some part of you still does.
But you tell yourself to hide this part, crush it into the past, and look towards the future.
But you have no past to build on. You've destroyed it. You can't build, you'll break. You can't run, you'll fall. And the tears spilling down your face make your foundation melt even faster.
But you can find the way to being yourself once again. There are ways to bridge the gap, to be the real you. Because your journey
Starts now.
After the 1999 attack at Columbine High School, Americans made a concerted effort to come up with policies to address the problem. Laws were written ordering schools to come up with policies to stem bullying.
School prevention programs were created.
After an initial burst of energy, the effort never quite materialized into a national campaign.
Bullying hadn't made it onto MTV or Cereal Box.
But the second wave of awareness is happening today.
And its momentum is driving issues to the top of the national agenda.
For this time, it isn't just confined to schools.
It's on our computer screens and phones.
For all to see.
The internet has created a new set of worries
And challenges. What has become commonplace is the harassment and humdrum cruelty.
That kids inflict on other kids.
The bullying now feels omnipresent.
Inescapable.
Coming home from school was no longer a refuge from torment.
You could always check your Facebook or Twitter to see what other kids were saying about you.
And a bully could find you on IM.
They can miss you that day in the hall, the barbs.
And jeers.
And gaining that.
Never stopped!
And all too often.
Bullies were able to needle their victims under a
Cloak of anonymity.
When I got to high school, I wanted it to be a new start. New school, new friends, new me. And of course, I wanted to be well liked, and in order to do that, I knew I needed to make friends with the cool upperclassmen. And I knew what that meant, partying, and that's what I did. But I actually hated it. But it made all the cool seniors like me, so I got into drugs and sex, and eventually I wasn't sure if there was a senior boy that I hadn't slept with. I hated every moment of it, and I always cried. And now all the girls in my class called me a slut and a whore, and I wasn't sure if it was worth being cool. Sex became a way to make new friends, and I knew that it was negative attention that I was getting, but maybe someone could like me for what I had to offer. So I displayed it. I displayed myself like a mannequin in a store window for anyone to try on and see if they wanted to keep me. But they didn't. They would pretend to care, and then they would leave. So I stopped, hoping that my reputation would end quickly. But it didn't. Now all the seniors started calling me a prude, asking me why I was so lame and boring now, and all my friends from middle school hated who I could come. And now my new friends hated me for leaving a party scene. Anyone who could have been my crying shoulder turned on me. And they were relentless. At the bus stop, in the hallways, in the lunchroom, in the bathroom, I could feel their eyes on me, their callous remarks echoing in my head. I mean, after school, I would go home and I would try to let it go, but they would still stalk me. I would get anonymous messages on my Tumblr and my Twitter, and I would get text messages at 2 o'clock in the morning. Thought I was gonna lose my mind. I was lost, with no compass to guide me. Because the seniors had turned me into the slut, and now I had to change everyone else's mind. Or I could just not care, but the voices in my head became echoes of ghosts talking louder and louder, trying to tell me to be someone who I'm not. But who was I? Was I really a slut? And did that make me cool? Or was I really a prude? And what did that mean anyway? Not wanting to have sex with just anyone had to be more than just being a prude, right? I was so confused. They came at me from every angle. They called me a slut, then a prude, then a slut, and then a prude. Please, just make them stop. Every time I heard it, it felt like a piece of me was lost. I was so lost. All I wanted was a new start. So finally, after a seemingly lost battle with both myself and my classmates, I decided that it was really time for a new start. Every time that I heard a rumor, I dismissed it. It didn't matter anymore. The past did not define me, because that's all it was, the past. And naturally, people didn't just stop hating me, but I stopped letting it get to me. And I focused a lot more on my schoolwork, and my grades actually started improving. And I realized that I was pretty good at writing, so I joined a club that wrote for the school newspaper. At first, the kids were skeptical about me joining, but they warmed up to me once they realized that I'd changed. And I actually made some friends because of it. And some students and teachers came up to me, and they actually complimented me on my work. And at first, I couldn't even believe them because no one had said anything like that to me in years. But as my self-confidence built up, the pieces began to fit. I didn't need popular friends or parties to define me. I had my personality, my attitude, my writing, and my real friends. I became so much happier. And now, close to graduation, I imagine myself walking up to the podium and receiving my diploma, and I see smiles all around me, previous wounds having been healed with time, and I can't help but grin. I made a new start. Now my life can truly begin.
Before the internet, much of the meanness took the form of a spoken word,
There, and then gone.
ephemeral and untraceable.
On social networking sites and in text messages.
By contrast, bullying between kids was on display via
Printouts
And screenshots.
this makes bullying more lasting.
More visible.
More viral.
The consequences have infinitely expanded.
It's not just the kids who happen to be on the playground who sees it.
It's any of hundreds
Or even thousands of Facebook friends.
sitting at the keyboard alone.
Instead of talking face to face.
Often shrouded in anonymity. Teenagers and adults. Sometimes sugar-coated.
And write in a kind of text speak that's harsher than what they would dare say aloud.
Stripped of tone of voice.
Or eye contact.
The meanness often hits harder than intended.
Read again.
And again.
By the target.
A tossed-off insult can become exponentially
More painful.
Girls tend to feel this more particularly acutely. They spend,
on average.
more time social networking.
And send more texts. 90 a day.
Compared to 50 for boys.
Which can mean
More gossiping
Name calling.
and hurting. We all know the line about sticks and stones, and how words won't break our bones. But how many times can we hear those words until we break them ourselves? I was 15 when my name was turned into a slur, and I responded to slurs like they were my name. They were broadcasted like overplayed pop songs that I couldn't catch a dance break from. I was held down by rumors and branded. But my friends knew, and all they could manage was a just ignore it. I hated them for that. I hated that they didn't have the x-ray vision to see that I had hairline fractures lining my core from the words I was being called. They never picked up the phone to call and see if I was okay, because I wasn't. But instead of digging my grave, I buried myself in music and art, as if famous strangers could somehow relate and numb my skeleton. And instead of getting help, I remained silent, as if it's better to have the reputation of a snitch, as if it's better to remain silent than have the reputation of a snitch. And I know I'm not the only one. We silence our screams with smiles, and we limp on our broken bones and go home to our broken homes, and we are told still how we don't measure up. But they don't understand how hard it is to stand on broken legs. Yet we carry ourselves on invisible crutches day after day. Days turn to weeks, turn to months, turn to seasons of love, and in winter, my best friend helped me walk on my own again. We grew closer knit like the cotton fibers of his band t-shirts. But when two best friends figure out that holding hands is more than just comfortable, but an art between artists, all kinds of words are thrown at me again. I watched him give in to them when all I needed was for him to stand beside me, hold me up. I would fall without you. It's so hard to hold someone else's hand when yours are broken. They judged me without trial, and when the gavel came down, it landed on my fingers, and I couldn't grasp why. There was no solution to my pain in a first aid kit. I couldn't sweat it out like a fever or sleep it off like a hangover. And it's so hard to carry on when your whole body aches, when there is nothing to look forward to except fear. And the scariest part of it all is the scar tissue. Yes, it makes you stronger, but it will never feel the same way again. The same collagen, the same me is still there. It just doesn't have the nerve that it used to. I am still here, and I am stronger than I was, and now it's time for a change. The school is trying to improve. Why shouldn't the students have the same ambition? After all, we don't need taxpayers' approval to have filters installed into the mouths of its students. And if they had just learned not to speak, it wouldn't have been so hard when he didn't speak to me. Loneliness is a plague of the heart, and mine was starting to break. I was being driven far away by these rumors, and when I looked over the edge of the cliff, the fall didn't seem so bad anymore. The leaves were still dead, and slushy snow still covered the ground, when she convinced me to audition. She was the first one in months not to look at me with disgust. And it was the first time in months that I felt like I could trust. She showed me comfort in the stage and the most functional family I had ever been a part of. They braced me when I was broken, and for the first time in a year, I was fine. But months later, words were fired at me again from automatic weapons. Each bullet broke a rib, and every ricochet was another chance for my friends to say, "Why can't you just ignore it?" As if being bullied was a scraped knee that I could just walk off. Therapist after therapist couldn't come up with a diagnosis that wasn't just be yourself, they'll love you for who you are, because they didn't. And listen, I refuse to have a life made up of prescriptions because a few people don't like my predispositions, and I am now changed, and I am now stronger. And I will no longer let anyone treat me any less than I deserve. I'm finally working up the nerve to stand on my own. I have a support system of friends, family, and loves, and they braced me when I was broken, and now I stand tall. Every word I have ever been called has made me into who I am standing here today. I'm proud of my life, and no amount of mere words can break that. As I stand on this stage today, I am doing what I love with who I love, and after the show, I will run into the arms of those who love me. And I will be happy. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but their words will always heal me.
The internet and cell phones don't cause bullying on their own, though.
And they haven't created a new breed of bullies.
In reality, the way kids treat each other on the internet
Is merely an extension of the way they treat each other.
in person.
The depersonalized features of technology have exacerbated the cruelty.
But its roots are in the real world rather than
The virtual one. Social network sites and texting are new.
amped up venue for the
Gossip, exclusions, and ganging up.
that have always unfolded in person. But bullying, wherever it takes place,
Isn't on the rise.
it feels more pervasive only because the web is pervasive. My friends,
My dearest Ashlyn, dear Ashlyn, I know you will never read this, and I know I can never tell you how sorry I am for the things I didn't do. For the things that escaped my notice. Looking back, I should have known. I should have known when you skipped our weekly Starbucks run and then laughed about it later. I should have known when you stopped paying attention in class, staring ahead and not taking careful notes like you used to. Even though you told me you were just daydreaming. Daydreams are not nightmares, Ashlyn. I thought you knew the difference. You being the one who taught me to dream again. I should have known when you mentioned one little thing about them bothering you. In a joke. But you always said there was some truth to a joke. I should have known when you came by after school with a bruise on your cheek and tears in your eyes. That one day I saw you cry. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, you said. Reminding me of the days when that's the only thing I wanted to hear. But I didn't realize how important that day was, because you never told me what made you cry. You never told me how they were hurting you, how they were bothering you and bullying you into breaking. I learned today what they were really doing to you. How you would get texts and calls and messages telling you how stupid you were, how worthless you were, how wrong you were. Every single thing a lie. Not a word they said was true.
But I was true. I was right there. I was always there. Why didn't you tell me, Ashley? I would have listened for days if it could have saved you. Why wasn't I enough? Why wasn't I enough to live for? You were enough for me. Why couldn't you trust me with your pain? This pain of losing you, this empty feeling inside when I think of you, this guilt that keeps me up at night, begging for a second chance that I know I will never have. And this hatred I now feel for everyone else, and the pity they feel for me. Pity, the one thing you never believed in, the one thing I never saw in you. But only now do I realize that's what you must have been feeling for yourself when you pulled the trigger and ended your life. I'm sorry this had to happen to you. I'm sorry that I'll never see your face or hear your laugh again. You were. No, you are my best friend. And the fact that you were transgender never mattered to me. And I guess that's why I didn't realize when it bothered everyone else. They wanted you to be the jock, the tough guy, the ladies' man, the guy you pretended to be, the guy you hated, the guy you regretted being every single day that you weren't. And it kills me that the newspaper and the yearbook and the gravestone say Ashton. They are remembering you, marking you forever with the thing that killed you. Not the way you should be remembered. And I will never forgive them for that. You should be remembered as the girl who became my best friend when no one else would. The girl who shared secrets and liked nail polish and horses and stupid movies. The amazing, beautiful girl who saved me from myself, from the monsters of my past. You were always shining to me. You were the highlight of my day. How could something so dark be hidden underneath that? But I'm trying to forgive you and myself so that your story doesn't become mine. Rest easy, my friend. I love you so much. Thank you.
Guiding me
interest in the harm that kids can inflict on each other. Much good has come from this heightened awareness.
It has shone a spotlight on kids in need of protection from cruelty.
Because they're gay,
Transsexual,
Muslim,
Jewish,
Buddhist,
overweight,
underweight,
Tall,
short,
black,
red,
white,
brown,
Irish, Italian.
You get the picture?
Painting my face is my favorite thing to do. My eyelids get coated in bronze and my cheeks in pink. I walk like a skyscraper and feel like the woman you only see on the cover of Vogue. At least, I used to. When my lips were dyed cherry red, I felt as though I could hold up the world. It was as if Marilyn Monroe's strength as a confident icon was plastered on me instead of lipstick. I felt beautiful. But as it turns out, my definition of beauty is not the correct definition. Until I have realized that wearing lipstick makes me a plastic, a branded word slapped across my false confidence. I came to realize I would be ugly no matter what I did. I don't like the normal, can't have my own, and either way, I just never feel comfortable. Words like plastic, vampire, and white ghost began to appear. If only I could change my look. I know I'm good on the inside, but it's the outside that I keep judging. I want my confidence to be real, not artificial. Besides, what's wrong with wearing makeup? Why should it matter? Does it even matter? Today, I'll try a new color. Create a new look. It's perfect. I go out into the world, but there they are again. The whispers. Vampire. Why? Won't they know what it's doing to me? I slowly started becoming someone I didn't see in the mirror. I tried changing my style, my hair, even my personality. The kids at school didn't seem to notice me now, not in the way they used to. I feel a little more confident. Later that night, I looked on my Facebook, and there was a new friend request. It was from a boy in my creative writing class, one of the select few whom I never heard an insult from. I accepted. He messaged me and we talked for hours. The next night, he wanted to see a picture of me without my makeup on. The past insults rushed into my head and I told him no. But he pressured me to do it anyway. If I didn't send him a picture, he might not like me. And I really wanted him to like me. So that night, I took the best photo I could and I sent it through all of cyberspace. For a boy who never seemed to care about the color of my lips. I was scared, but there was also a new feeling. Excitement. My heart began to race when I saw the notification pop up. He had messaged me back. He said, "You're really great at doing makeup, but I think you're beautiful without it." He thought I was beautiful. He thought my face, my bare, naked, no makeup face was beautiful. He even said that my perhaps eccentric taste in makeup was great. I may be a plastic, a vampire, or a white ghost to everyone else. But to him, and maybe even myself, I'm beautiful.
Today we equate safety with a child's emotional well-being.
While some kids recover and learn from their experiences,
The catch is,
And it is a crucial one.
is that a smaller number of kids involved with bullying
will not recover so well.
And we're not very good yet at knowing who will emerge stronger from the taunting,
And who will be seriously harmed by it?
or
God forbid,
Succumb to it.
Meanness that leaves one kid unscathed in the long run can destroy another one.
and we cannot simply shrug it all off and say,
That what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
I am an invisible girl. I sit at the end of the table. I don't speak because I know no one will listen. I don't bother to correct them that I'm not absolutely leaving. I don't expect them to notice that I dyed my hair or changed my clothes. I am a little invisible girl with a world of ideas in my head. I don't speak because of how things were at my old school. At my old school, my ideas were shot down by people with more friends and whose opinions held more weight than my own. It's stupid. Every time I spoke in class, someone would call me an idiot. Everyone thought I was so stupid. I eventually stopped speaking.
When she moved, she was relieved. She could be invisible. In this new school, no one would notice her now. She sat in the back of the room. She spent as little time in the hallways as possible. During recess, she sat in the back in the grass near the door, waiting for the bell. At lunch, she found a seat in the back where no one else would sit. On the bus, she sat in the farthest seat possible, all to avoid unwanted attention. Although she would soon learn that she was not as invisible as she thought. People still called her weird and made up their own stories about her because she didn't speak. Why did they act like this towards her? Why couldn't they just leave her alone? Ignorance is not bliss for the one being violated by it. What she couldn't see in the mirror is her grace, her wonderful manners, and how sometimes that can be the most attractive thing about a person. But she never saw beauty in her own reflection. She looked just as great without her hair dyed and with regular clothes and no makeup. She didn't realize that there's so much more to a person than looks. Her silence became her inner strength. With it, she became stronger and wiser. She learned to observe the world around her and use her knowledge to improve her situations. But it takes time. She has been silent for so long, it takes her time to find her voice once again. It takes her time to find herself once again. Silence has been her master for too long. But finally, she made a decision. It's time to move on.
it's time for me to break the silence.
Kids often bully because they stand to gain by it in terms of social status.
Maybe they're after a laugh from another kid they want to impress. Or an induction into a clique.
Maybe they want to publicly distance themselves from a kid they now sense is seen as a loser.
Boys tend to bully other boys and girls.
They are more likely to bully physically as they try to prove their masculinity.
However, they also do their share of gossiping and manipulating friendships.
Girls tend to bully other girls.
They use their highly attuned social antenna
To wage war against other girls.
Girls know how other girls feel, so they know better how to harm them.
Girls frequently attack within tightly knit networks of friends.
The use of gossip, slights, and exclusion.
Tactics that are especially cruel.
Because girls often deploy them against former friends.
In this world,
Friendship is a weapon.
And the sting of someone's shout pales in comparison to a day of someone's silence.
There is no gesture more devastating than
Friday night.
she needs a guarantee of company and haven for the elderly. Remember those who win the game, lose the love they sought to gain, and Devonshire's equality and dubious integrity. Their small town eyes will gape at you, and all surprise when payment due exceeds accounts received at 17. To those of us who know the pain of Valentines that never came, and those whose names were never called when choosing sides for basketball. It was long ago, far away. The world was younger than today, and dreams were all they gave for free to ugly duckling girls like me. We all play the game, and when we dare to cheat ourselves at solitaire, inventing lovers on the phone, repenting other lives unknown, that call and say, come dance with me, and murmur vague obscenities at ugly girls like me at 17.
Of most important is one fact.
Bullying is not the norm. Everyone doesn't do it.
Hey, nice shirt. Did you get that? Listen center? That's almost everyone.
Sorry. 75 to 90% of children don't bully at all.
Or with any regularity.
And we should keep that statistic front and center.
Though that bullying is a matter that cuts across lines of race, class,
And geography. The reality is most kids aren't directly involved.
Either as perpetrators or as targets.
And when kids understand that concerted cruelty is the exception and not the rule, they respond.
Bullying drops, and students become more active about reporting it.
Hey, yo, come sit next to me. Yo, I'm coming, Joe. Yeah, come on. I actually hate this class, though. Yeah. It's awesome.
Dude, I was in US history, the nap was so nice.
Really? I'm gonna make the best story about it.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean fucking you. Whatever. Why are you always so nice to her? She's like constantly ridiculing making fun of you. You're a decent person.
Whoa, thanks. Put the phone away before I take it.
Guys, I told you to put your phone away.
Yeah, but is she actually gonna do anything? You know how she is.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so put the phone away. Yeah. Okay. It was like, put your phone away. Don't make me say it again. You should probably move.
Doesn't look like I can.
Rude. Thank you. Let's do a quick review of what we went over yesterday. Does anyone remember the acronym we used for describing two sets of data? SOCS! The acronym is SOCS. SOCS. There's a K in it.
job.
Wow, teacher's there.
Wendy, knock it off.
It's true.
At least I'm going somewhere, Mike.
If you don't knock it off, I'm going to send you both to the principal's office.
Do it.
All right, everyone clear your desk for a pop quiz. Wait,
Yes. Who's going? Please.
Can we have a word then?
I'm making hard on this.
It's going in the bus.
Yo, stop being mad, man. You had to let us.
Now get to it.
Yes. Doing good.
Someone asked me today why I'm so nice to people who treat me badly, and I didn't know the answer. Then, after finishing my test, I looked around and realized why. I looked at the girl who made fun of my ability to do math, and her head was on the desk, and she looked tired. I know she was involved in a lot of clubs, like student council and FBLA, and that they met early every day before school, and I wondered if there was something at home keeping her up, or if maybe it was just the amount of work her teachers assigned her. I looked at the girl who replied to my hellos by twirling her hair and snapping her gun, and I know that her and her boyfriend had just broken up. And it could probably be a lot of trouble always having people so concerned with your business. He could probably be a jerk, and I know she only acts in class so that people will like her. And then there's the boy who picks me last for teams, always in gym, and he's glaring at the desk and his eyebrows are furrowed. And I think it must be really hard always practicing and still having to get your grades for college. And then there's the girl, who everyone thinks is mean, but I've seen the scars on her wrists. And then there's the girl who's always reading, and I wonder what she gets from these books of hers, or if she's learning from something. And then there's the boy who wears the same shirt and the same shoes every day, but I know it holes in them, because whenever it rains, he complains about having wet socks. And I wonder if his parents work hard for him, or if they drink a lot. And I wonder if he feels like an outcast, because he has so little. And then there's the girl who just moved here. Her first language isn't English. I can hardly imagine having to learn this stuff in a language you barely know. And there's Mrs. Nolan. I noticed that she wasn't wearing her wedding ring today. And she's probably having troubles at home with her husband. And us not paying attention on top of that, I can't imagine that it helps much.
Where am I?
Do you need this class to graduate?
Yes, I'll see you all in the next. No.
Look at my elephant!
It's going in the bus.
I'm gonna take another nap in class.
Time to go home, guys.
I done next time.
YOLO.
The point is, I looked around and I realized that everyone has their own problems and their own demons, and the last thing that I want to do is to add to those. No matter what anyone says, there's a lot of pressure growing up, and no one has it easy. What do I do if I find myself tempted to bully someone else?
If you're a person who's caught up in a lot of drama, or maybe making people unhappy because they're weaker than you, either physically or socially, take a good look at yourself. Do you really want to be known as someone who causes other people pain and humiliation? You know the saying about walking a mile in someone else's shoes? How about just trying that, in your own mind? That doesn't mean you have to beat yourself up. Just know that you can do better. Almost everyone on this earth has the capacity for empathy and caring. Dig deep and find yours, and don't let go of it.
She tore herself apart in an attempt to erase all of the things that those around her did not agree with. She allowed their rough hands to shape her until looking into a mirror was as if looking at a photo. A broken girl that she could not recognize. Grades slipped and friends slipped away, just like the respect that she once held for herself. The smile never slipped and her eyes never spilled over, and so they let her be, not even bothering to wonder. She had to be picture perfect, despite the fact that she hadn't taken a photo she liked in months. ink-stained fingers refused to clutch a pen as the words ran dry, only to leave empty pages in empty notebooks. She slept a lot, because she didn't have to worry then. That way, no one questioned why she was always so quiet. She got so used to the unkind words her mind and others spat at her that the sweet disposition her dream self had was even more unattainable. She realized perfect would never be a word used in describing her, so she gave up trying.
Bully-side.
It is a word that the media often uses to describe why a young person took their own life. It sensationalizes the tragic event.
Sells newspapers, gets the public riled up, causes politicians to make grandiose speeches.
And most importantly, oversimplifies the tragic event.
It implies that one person's death by suicide can be attributed to one event or factor.
Which is just not true.
We've singled out different scapegoats for suicide for decades.
We blamed the mean teacher, bad parents,
Dungeons and Dragons.
Working mothers.
Divorce. Now it's bullies.
especially mean kids on the internet.
The thing is, there can be some truth to these explanations.
When someone is bullied and they go through what we call a stressor event.
And they're humiliated. And that can be terrible.
But bullying is not the sole reason why someone may choose to take their own life.
But it most certainly can be a factor.
I heard your whispers of discontent. A sad call in the dark. I tried to deny that you had fallen into its grip. In my mind, you were the strongest, untouchable. You can't tell anyone you whispered through the phone. Your voice sounded broken and almost defeated. I won't tell a soul, I whispered. My voice tried to warn you, and I meant it. They'll lock me up. I don't want to be taken away. You would choke back your sobs. Your inner demons had sunk their claws in and were not letting go. No one's going to take you away, I whispered. But from in your voice, I could hear the demons. They're already tearing you to shreds. You have to promise me. Swear on your soul, your very existence. Your voice broke and I could hear the hurt from old and new scars. I promise you. I could feel the weight descend on my shoulders, the darkness that crept into my heart. I had made the most solemn swear I could to her. I swore on my soul, the honor to find your entire existence in trustworthiness was now in her hands. But when your voice whispered what you had done to yourself, my heart did not shatter into 1,000 pieces like a dozen stories. No. It cracked. My heart gave the illusion of being whole while concealing how truly weak it was inside. A tear streamed silently down my cheeks and neck. I wiped them away to conceal their presence. I knew you couldn't see me, but I couldn't let you know how much your words had almost destroyed me. To know would have been too much for you. You were too close to the edge to handle my emotions as well as yours. I have to be strong for you and me. My consultations did not seem to affect you. I called every day to check in on you. Your voice still held the demons of the past that darkened your future. You were feeling worthless, unneeded, and a burden. But to me, you are the most priceless treasure. I need you to make it through the day. I would willingly lay my life down for you. Take your place gladly, but watch you take your life for no cause unacceptable. My options were limited. I would fly to you if only I could grow wings. Your secret seemed to chain to the ground. Nausea became a constant companion. Thinking of how I almost lost you, I wept openly whenever the thought crossed my mind. I had to do it. I hope you understand. I had to try and save you. She looked at me with warm, comforting eyes as I stood before her. "What's the matter?" she asked, not knowing the intensity of the answer. I swore an oath, but your life is more important than any promise. Your life will not slip away so easily. I released the words I've been holding back for you. A promise has been broken, but a life cannot be repaired.
What should I do if I think someone is hurting themselves because they're being bullied?
You should talk to an adult you think can help right away. Any hint that you know is that someone is hurting themselves or otherwise suicidal is worth acting on. Do not ignore it and do not wait. This is one time where it's truly valuable to err on the side of caution. You can also call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 800-273-TALK. The bottom line is to get any help you can from any psychologist, counselor, teacher, administrator, or any trusted adult.
People don't stop being bullies when they grow up. They just dress differently to fool you.
B, C, C, D, F. Blair, your brother brings me home straight A's and you give me this crap.
It's not what you think, Mom.
I don't want to hear your excuses. I want to see your performance.
I'm trying, Mom.
Well, you're not trying hard enough. Andy would never bring home a report like this.
I'm not Andy, I'm me.
Blair, you don't understand what I'm saying.
I just think, looks like I'm interpreting something.
It's Blair's progress report. Look at these grades. Andy would never bring home a report like that.
Barbara, talk to her, please. Tell her I'm not Andy, I'm me.
This is between you and your mother. I don't get involved, you know that.
You could have backed me up on this. She respects your opinion.
She's your kid. You know I don't get involved in these matters.
I appreciate that, but oh my gosh, you're a member of this family and my partner.
Whatever. You're almost right.
Should be. Blair, come downstairs right now and set the table. Blair, I mean it right now. That's weird. What? Her window's open, and it looks like some of her stuff is gone. And she left this note. What does it say? Two words. I'm free.
Don't you wish that once, just once, you could have a do-over? Be able to reset the clock and try things over again? What would you do or say differently? Let's try this again.
B, C, C, D, F. Blair! Your brother brings me home straight A's and you give me this crap?
It's not what you think, Mom.
I don't want to hear your excuses. I want to see your performance.
I'm trying, Mom.
Well, you're not trying hard enough. Angie would never bring home a report like this.
I'm not Angie, I'm me.
Blair.
Uh-oh. Looks like I'm interrupting something.
It's Blair's progress report. Look at those grades. Angie would never bring home a report like that.
Well, I think we should talk about it. Blair, you know what your mother expects from you, right?
Yeah.
Good. Now, Andy has been setting a perfect example for you.
I know, but exactly. I just don't understand why you can't be more like him.
But there's something you both need to understand, and it's very important, okay?
Right?
You are not your brother, Blair. You are you, and your talents lie in very different areas.
But I can't do it, Annie doesn't just...
So, here's what I think. B's and the C's, they're okay, but let's work out and try to figure out how we can bring those other grades up. Maybe Mr. Perfect Andy can tutor you in math. That seems to be the subject you're having the most trouble with. Yeah. And I suppose I can work with you on science. I have to remember some of it from college. And you, Carol, you're a nurse. You can help her in her health and hygiene class. If we all work this together and set up some reasonable expectations for each other, I think we can come out of this ahead. Agreed?
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Bullying builds character like nuclear waste creates superheroes. It's a rare occurrence and often does much more damage than you doubt.
What should I do if I see someone else being bullied?
If you see other kids being cruel, think about the steps you could realistically and safely take to stop it. You don't have to jump into the middle of a fight. Though, if you guys are up for that, don't let us stop you. You don't have to commit to befriending the person either. Sometimes just sending a sympathetic text or asking someone if they're okay is enough. If you can show empathy to a person during or afterwards, it can mean a lot, even if they don't know you. Just knowing someone is out there who cares can really help a person.
The seniors at Mary Lewis Academy, a Catholic girls' school in Queens, New York, understand self-marketing. In early spring, they hung up a set of posters in the hallways and stairwells that featured only a mysterious D. This started a buzz. D for what? A few days later, they hung another set of posters with the word deleted. Next, they held an assembly where the seniors explained that for their end-of-the-year service project, they were going to hold a school-wide delete day. Seniors walked around all the time, and they helped kids on their online personas. Everyone was welcome to stop by during a free lunch or a free period. No teacher would be looking over and seeing if you have any embarrassing posts. Leaving the stage, they wondered if anyone would come. The idea for delete day was their own. School administrator did ask, though, why would anybody want to do this? On the appointed day in May, the students were nervous about the turnout. They put out cookies and a set of deleted pins in the computer lab. In big black letters, one student decorated a poster. Business was strong. The seniors walked around with clipboards with deleting instructions and advice. One 15-year-old sat at a computer with her Facebook page open. I had 770 friends. I don't even talk to 770 people. She took several boys she didn't know off of her friends list, and she scrolled through rows of pictures until she got to one shot of herself leaning on her back. My real friend, but we were too close together. So she deleted the photo. Other girls took down vampy photos of themselves and untagged photos elsewhere. They erased their phone numbers and they unjoined Facebook groups names like I'm a woman of dignity, LOLJK. Our girls are hotter, and some kids want drugs, and some kids want alcohol. Many of the girls belonged to a social networking site called Formspring, which allowed anonymous comments. One girl by the name of Camilla logged on and read the comments and questions on her page.
Do you hate me? I hate you. No one wants you here. Go home.
So ugly, I hate you. You're like 15. Stop being a little slut, make you explain.
Camilla said, when I first signed on, I had people telling me I was nice and smart, and that felt good. But after I got my first boyfriend, the girls got jealous. It got really hard to me.
Camilla didn't know who was writing this stuff about her and who would see it, and that made her feel worse. She couldn't take down the internet page by herself, so she had to change the password, and she hid her page from other users. The students' exit poll for debate day showed that about 250 girls participated out of a school of 700. 44 took themselves off Forumsgram, and 9 deleted their Facebook accounts. Then they signed a pledge.
I, Mari, am a woman of dignity at the Mary Rose Academy, and I pledge to become a responsible cyber citizen. As Gandhi once said, my life is my message. I pledge to delete personal information that is dangerous in public, delete unknown friends, delete inappropriate comments or pictures, delete Forumspring pages, delete hurtful or offensive groups, create an email address that is suitable for a college-bound young woman, encourage my friends to delete.
These girls weren't about to renounce their internet citizenship. They were regular teenagers, and they were going to live both in the real world and the virtual one. They'd figured out that they could make their own rules, so that would benefit both.
What can I do if I'm harassed online?
Well, first off, you can ask the website to take down any content that violates its rules, as many harassing posts do. If that site happens to be Facebook, then report the abuse yourself, and they'll take your word that you're being bullied, and they'll send the content to an adult you can trust. And print out the content or take a screenshot so you have a record. But even if you feel like you'd rather make it go away by deleting it, or if you want help dealing with it, you need to show other people what's happening. It's usually not better to get into a back and forth with someone. And it's not good to go into make a harassing post and have back and forth going on. And if you're part of that, then just take a break, and it's better when things calm down. And your friends know how to connect you by phone or just by getting together. And remember, you don't need to be online to know who you are.
What should I do if I'm being bullied?
If you can't make it stop on your own or you're upset by it, talk to someone you trust. If at all possible, choose an adult as well as someone your own age. People who are best equipped to help you are ones who are close to you and will understand the context of the situation you're in. If possible, look for a sympathetic youth group in your area. They may not be able to help right away, or even in the near future, but having allies is really important. For immediate inspiration, check out Dan Savage's It Gets Better project, or Lady Gaga's Born This Way Foundation, or make a video from Hungry yourself.
When should I go to an adult? My parents, a teacher, a counselor, or the principal? What about the police?
If you can trust your parents, you should talk to them often and early about bullying that you see or experience. Let them help you. Older siblings can also be a source of wisdom and protection. Don't let shame or embarrassment stop you. It's your family's job to have your back. If you're worried they may overreact, that's a legitimate fear, but it's one you may be able to talk through with them. If you really think that your parents will make things worse, try to think of someone else you can go to.
When students see trouble, they can report anything they see to a counselor or administrator. If they feel more comfortable talking to a teacher about it, the teacher can then bring it to a counselor or administrator and connect them with an adult that can help. If a student is in trouble, the exact same process happens. And sometimes your friend knows what's going on or will see something that happens and bring you into the office and just connect you to someone that can help. And this actually happens a lot.
Straights have nothing to do looks right.
Often, the right path is the hardest one to you thought, but the hard path is also the one that will help you grow as a human being.
Not all forms of abuse leave bruises. Make a choice and make it quick. Either build a real heart or get out of my way. Quick!
Too good, kiddo. It ain't always fun or easy, but in the long run, it will make you a better person.
People who repeatedly attack your self-confidence and self-esteem are quite aware of your potential, even if you're not.
People see you're happy with what you're doing. It sort of takes the power away from them to tease you about it.
Nobody kills himself by one thing another.
Watch me rise like smoke from fire. Watch me fly above your hate. Watch me dance upon your meanness like a ballerina with posture grace. Watch me slide upon your hatred. Watch me soar above your secret and know that I am out there somewhere.
Rolling me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by. And I'm gonna go there free. Like a fool I am and I'll always be. I've got a dream, I've got a dream. They can change their minds, but they can't change me. I've got a dream, I've got a dream. Oh, I know I could share it if you want me to. If you're going my way, I'll go with you. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by.